Welcome to Chat and Dish. I'm Casey Quaretti. Today I'm going to show you how to make an absolutely marvelous pork tenderloin with a mustard tarragon sauce. And for dessert, I thought we could whip up some bananas Tarte Tatin. We're going to start off by making a marinade for our pork tenderloin. Let's just take a big baggie, because that's what it's going to marinate in. Set it in a bowl so that we've got a place to hold our ingredients. Then we're going to start off with 1/4 cup of a really nice extra virgin olive oil, or virgin if that's all you have in the house. There we go. Okay, we need a cup of dry white wine. I happen to be using a Pinot Grigio. This is just a house table wine, a regular drinking wine. Remember, if you're going to cook with wine, use whatever it is that you will drink with. Don't ever buy cheap wine. You know what? It'll ruin your dish. 3 nice sized cloves of garlic that I want you to put through a garlic press. The reason that I'm having you put them through a garlic press rather than just chop them is you get a lot more of the garlic oil and a lot more garlic flavor in your marinade. I don't even bother with a knife to scrape this off. I just use the side of the bag. Remember, 3 nice sized cloves. We need 2 tablespoons of fresh thyme. You are going to find that a lot of recipes that originate, especially in the south of France, will use a lot of fresh thyme, mostly because it grows wild. It's a bit like a weed. It was all over in my garden. I never bought it once in the 11 years that I lived there. And 3 tablespoons of fresh rosemary, another herb that grows in abundance in the south of France. Chop these together well. The fresh herbs get added to our garlic and wine mixture. Now we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. That's going to give it a nice little zing. Pork tenderloin goes into our nice big baggie. We seal it up and then give it a good massage. Ooh, kind of like a vacation in the south of France. You're there, you've got the herbs, you've got the sunshine, and now you're getting a nice massage. Set this aside for 30 minutes to an hour before we bake it. Our pork tenderloin comes out of the marinade. Just when you take it out of the baggie, just give it a good squish all along. You're going to throw your marinade away. Put it into a nice baking pan or roasting pan. And what you're going to do now is something that's going to make it very, very southern French. And that is we're smearing it all over. That's a good cooking term. With Dijon mustard. I have about 3 tablespoons of mustard. Our tenderloin goes into a preheated 375-degree oven for approximately 25 minutes, or until the center temperature reaches 145 degrees. Our bananas Tarte Tatin are very simple. 4 ramekins, 4 bananas, butter, brown sugar, and puff pastry. 1 tablespoon of butter goes into the bottom of each one of your ramekins. I just do it with the back of a spoon. A tablespoon of brown sugar goes into the bottom of each of your ramekins. I just eyeball this amount. You want a nice amount of brown sugar. It's dessert. Slice your bananas a little bit on the diagonal. Now, we have Stephanie Tatin to thank for Tarte Tatin, which simply means upside down tart. She was a hotelier back in the 1880s that was very busy and forgot about her apples and brown sugar on the stove when she was making an apple pie. So she simply threw some pastry on top, cooked it a little bit, flipped it over, and hence Tarte Tatin was born. As always, these mistakes are absolutely delicious, and we're still doing it today. Simply place your bananas in the ramekins. Make sure you overlap them just a little bit. Take one of your puff pastry sheets, lay it out on parchment paper, and then just roll it out a little bit larger than it starts out. Use an extra ramekin as your pattern, lay it on your puff pastry, and then simply with a knife, cut a circle around your puff pastry about a 1/2 inch larger than your ramekin itself. Lay your puff pastry circle on top of your ramekin. Gently tuck your puff pastry down into the ramekin. That actually forms the sides of your Tarte Tatin. Our banana Tarte Tatins go in a preheated 400-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes. Your puff pastry bits that are left over are perfect, sprinkled with cinnamon and sugar and baked at the same time. Our tarragon sauce starts off with 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped tarragon, and to that we are going to add a 1/2 cup of chicken stock and 3/4 of a cup of cream, and then we're going to give it a sprinkling of salt and pepper. This goes onto the stove and it comes to a boil. Then I want you to reduce it so it's just simmering and let it reduce by half. Our beautiful banana tarte tatins are out of the oven. Now we're just going to set them aside, and when it comes time to serve, we're going to add a little scoop of vanilla ice cream to make it an extra special treat, a la mode. Here's our beautiful pork tenderloin right out of the oven. We need to let it sit for 10 minutes before we slice it. That resting time helps the juices settle back into the meat itself. If you cut right away, all the juices are going to run right out and your meat is going to be dry and tough. So take that extra time while your sauce is reducing and let your tenderloin rest. Our tarragon sauce is reduced by half. I wanted to show you this because it's still very thin. It's actually quite a light sauce, but you can see how it coats the spoon. That's exactly what you're looking for. Dijon mustard pork tenderloin with a tarragon white wine sauce. Absolutely fabulous. Bon appetit. Oh, fabulous. I'm so excited. My kids are coming home to celebrate my birthday with me this weekend, so I've picked out my birthday dinner menu, and here it is. First up, over at Yum and Yummer, I'm going to be making pumpkin sage and spicy sausage pizza. That's going to be a huge hit with the entire family. I want you to go over, check out Yum and Yummer, and absolutely check out the pumpkin sage and spicy sausage pizza. Second shout out goes to SP Cookie Queen. My friend Gina's got a great blog, and right now she is showing us how to make a lattice-topped apple pie tart. That's actually what I'm going to be making for my birthday dinner dessert. So why don't you join me this weekend and make Gina's lattice-topped apple pie tart? You're going to get the recipe over at SP Cookie Queen. As always, thank you for visiting. Until next time, I'm going to miss you. Oh, why don't you try these and let me know in the comments how you and your family like the pork tenderloin and this marvelous little banana tarte tatin. Fantastic.